The king and queen of the swamp, though, really made out pretty good. $143 million into the Clinton Foundation, $500,000 for a regurgitated speech that was probably a yawner both times. 20% of America's uranium. I mean, when Russia pulled the lever on this thing, they got jackpot. This is like the biggest jackpot they could have hoped for.
Absolutely, and I think we have to remember, this isn't 20% of the wheat supply or 20% of the popcorn supply. This is 20% of the supply of the stuff we put into atomic weapons. This is deadly serious stuff. To me, this is almost like a 21st century version of the Rosenbergs. The Clintons have been skating on this like they've skated on everything else. And either we live in a system where we're all under the same laws, or in a two-track system where we've got the laws for everyone around the country and the laws for the elite in Washington, D.C. I don't want to live in that country, and the way to end that is to investigate these people. If they're guilty, they need to be locked up.
Is the bottom line, is there just some sort of de facto let's say, agreement, if you will, between the political parties that there's certain lengths we'll go to when someone's in power because we know eventually the other party will get in power? Is this a way of protecting each other, even when it's a clear-cut, it appears to the general public to be clear-cut violations?
I think this goes well beyond that. I mean, someone might say, look, we don't want to nail somebody for taking a fancy dinner somewhere or a trip someplace else. But when you're really talking about $145 million in donations to the Clinton Foundation from the investors in Uranium One, in exchange for that, Russia gets control of 20% of our uranium, which evidently is already leaving the United States, even though Uranium One does not have an export license. Right. This is very, very serious stuff. This goes well beyond any kind of petty, light corruption.
Well, how about the fact that the Uranium One deal might actually be a quid pro quo for the really terrible Iran deal, let alone with what happened with the money that the Clinton Foundation got, the speaking fees, and the fact that James Comey was overlooking, or Bob Mueller was overlooking these investigations of kickbacks and bribes over the deal. The point is that there's so much involved here. If you don't look at this, the question is, what else won't you look at? And I really don't care about party politics. Again, the fact that you could give the Russians 20% of America's nuclear reserve in terms of uranium is absolutely insane.
Right.
Unbelievable, totally outrageous.
It helps also that the mainstream media will not cover this. They'll take President Trump to task for having an informal conversation with some folks, reporters in the back of the Air Force One, and try to make something out of that. But this, I mean, there's more than smoke here, and they just won't cover it. All right, guys.
Melania's shoes. Look at all the attention to her shoes compared to the Uranium One deal. It's extraordinary.
All right, guys. Thank you both very, very much. Meanwhile, President Trump's battle with North Korea escalates. At least the insult